Hi, and welcome back to my channel. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you how to make this plain peyote stitch ring band using two different colors of delicas. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the description box for you so you can check that out. But today I'm excited because I'm going to show you how to do, this is the exact same stitch, and it's peyote, but it's called graduated peyote. And by graduated peyote, it just means that it's going to use the same stitch but different size beads, and when you do that, it makes a really pretty curve, and it's just a really pretty ring. Although it's a big ring, it's not for everybody. It's kind of a statement ring, but you can make it like this. This one here is using 10 beads. This one here is using 8 in a row, and then this one here is using 12. So the more beads you use lengthwise, the bigger the ring. I kind of like this and this. This is 8 and this is 10. So today I'm going to make a ring with you using graduated peyote stitch. I think I'll do 10. The length will be 10 beads. And what we have here are two different types of delicas, size 11 delicas, size 11 regular Mayuki seed beads. These are 15-ohs. These are the smallest beads, and they kind of cinch the little curve in to give it more definition. Then we have 8-ohs and 2x3 Chinese crystal rondelles. So we're going to use all of those. And if you're excited to learn this graduated peyote stitch and make this ring with me, hit that like button and come on back and we'll get started. Okay, so I've threaded my needle with a wingspan of, I'm using 8-pound smoke fire line. Now this does come, the smoke tends to come off on your fingers, as you can see here, but it's not really a big deal. It comes off really easily once you wash your hands, but as you're beading, you may get some on your hands when you're using the smoke color. So I've put on a stop bead and threaded my needle with about a wingspan, and that usually, well, that always takes me through the entire ring. So we're going to go ahead and start peyote. I've got my dark purple delicas. We're going to pick up 10 of those. Two, 4, 6, 8, and one more. And drop that down to the stop bead. And we're going to start peyote. So peyote starts picking up a 1 bead, skipping the first bead and sewing into the next. Kind of gotta situate your beads to make them lay right at first, because when you're first starting a project, they tend to be a little wonky until they straighten out. Pick up your next delica, skip the next bead, and sew into the bead after that. Pick up another delica, skip the next bead, and sew into the following bead. Pick up another delica. We're still on the dark color. Sew into, skip the next bead and sew into the following one. All right, and pick up one more delica. skip the next one and sew into that last one. And there you go, you've got your first row done. So now we're going to flip it and start our second row. And we're still on the darker purple delicas. And now I'm going to sew into each sticking out bead. Sew into the next sticking out bead. Pick up another delica. Sew into the next sticking out delica. Pick up another delica. Sew into the next sticking out delica. And pick up another delica. Sew into that last sticking up delica in the second row. And there you go, you've got 2 rows on. Excuse the fire lines really coming off on my fingers, but this is what you'll have. Then you're going to flip it. And we're going to go up. I'll do another row with you with this color. Go up that first sticking out delica. So you're always picking up, for each row you're doing 5, you're putting on 5 new delicas because they're going in between each delica, and we've got 10 in each row. Go through that next delica. Pick up another one. Go through the next delica. Pick up another one and go through that last delica on this row. And there you go. Now you've got 3 rows on. And what you want to do now is just finish up to like 10 rows and then come back and I'll put on the next color. So I'm putting on my last row of the darker purple, and I've got probably about 10 rows on. And after this row, the fun begins, because we're going to start changing colors and sizes. And one more bead in this row. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it and we're going to go with our next color of delicas. Now this is the same size, so it's really only going to be a different color and not a different size right away. So, and what you do is you add 3 rows of each color. So going to sew in that first sticking out bead. Okay, and one more brighter purple in this row. And this is what you have. So I'm going to flip it, go back up again, put another row of this brighter purple between each sticking up delica bead. Go into that last one. So now we've got 2 rows of the brighter color on, and we're just going to flip it, do one more row, and then we're going to go smaller. Like going smaller, it's going to cinch it in, and then we're going to start going bigger again, and then back down to smaller. And that's what makes that really pretty curve. Oops, I got 2 on. Now you don't have to use the 15 O's. You could go straight into the 11 O's in the round seed bead, not the delicas. The delicas are more cylinder, and this is an 11O delica. Then we're going to go up to the 8O, and then we're going to do this here. This is the crystal rondelle, the Chinese crystal rondelle, and then we're going to go back down. So let's get the last bead on. And I'm going to flip it, and now I'm going to start the 15O. Like I said, you don't have to do the 15O. I like doing that in between these other beads because, like I said, it cinches it in. And it makes it more of a bubbly curve, if that makes sense. So each time you're going to do 3 rows. So I'm going to do 3 rows of this 15. So we've got 1. That's what you have. I hope the camera's picking that up. Gonna flip it, put another row on of the 15 O's. All right, so now we've got 2 rows of the 15. So I'm going to try and bring this really close so you can see. This is what we started out with. The first dark purple delica. We've got about 8 to 10 rows there. Then we got 3 of the brighter purple delica. Now we got the 2 rows of the 15. I'm going to put our last row on. And I just love these colors. Purple is my favorite color, and then doing different shades of it, different shades of purple and amethyst. I just find that so pretty. Okay, one more bead for this grouping of 3 rows. Where'd it go? Okay, must have fallen off. Must have jumped off my needle. Okay, put that last one on. And there we go. This is what you have. So now I'm going to flip it, and we're going to start the 11-0 plain round seed beads. So we do 3 rows of this. There's your first row. Flip it. Come on there. Going for our second row. And you can kind of see the difference in the sizes next to each other. Now it's going to look pretty funny. I remember when I first did this graduated peyote, I'm like, what is happening? Because it kind of goes out like a fan, but you just got to trust the process. One more in this row. I'm going to flip it. We're going to go up one more time with these beads, and we're going to go into the 8/0s. I did a video all about seed beads in different sizes. I'll link that below in the description box too, so if you haven't seen that, you can check that out. I go into more detail about different sizes of seed beads. Okay. One more. going through that last 11-0 on the top there. Now we're going to flip it and start with the 8-0s, which are a little bit bigger than the 11-0s. Go through that first 11-0. Take another 8-0. Go through the next 11-0. Take another 8-0. Go through that next sticking out 11-0. Go through that next sticking out 11-0. Go through that last 11-0 on the top there, and this is what you have. So we're going to flip it, do 2 more rows of the 8-0s. Go through that next sticking up 11-0, or I'm sorry, 8-0. Go through the next 8-0. And go through the next 8-0. Flip it, and we're going to do 1 more row of the 8-0s, and we're going to go through all the sticking out 8-0s, which this is the first one. Go through that. Now you can experiment with different sizes of beads. These are just the ones that I've found work the best. But you can certainly try 6-0s instead of these 8-0s. It gives you a bigger look. That's the thing about beading. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can just let your imagination take you, and you can try different things and see what you like. All right. So we've got 3 rows of our 8-0s. And see how it fans out? And it looks like, oh my goodness, what is going to happen? I'm going to flip it. Now we're going to start the crystal rondelles. Through each sticking out 8-0. There you go. You got your first row on. We're going to flip it, go back up. The crystal rondelle kind of gives it a little bit of sparkle, which I like. All right, so you got 2 rows of the crystal on. You're going to flip it, do 1 more, and then we're going to go back down 3 rows of 8-0s, 3 rows of 11-0s, 3 rows of 15-0s. Back down to the delicas, And then we're going to zip it up. Okay, our final crystal rondelle, an amethyst, and this is what you have. Gonna flip it. Now we're going back to the 8 O's. We're gonna put 3 rows of the 8 O's on. To each sticking out rondelle. Okay, so you got your first row of the 8 O's back on. I'm going to go up this side. You kind of see how the ring is starting to take shape. We just have to do this other side, then the band, and then we're done. So you're going to go up that 8 O, the sticking out 8 O, take an 8 O, go up the next sticking out 8 O, take an 8 O, go up the next 8 O, all right. Kind of see how it's looking. We're going to flip it. Do one more row of the 8 O's. Okay. Now we're going to go back down to the 11 O's, and it's going to start cinching it back in. Whoops. Inevitably, I kind of get my beads mixed up. So and these are really good to have, so you can kind of sort them and move them around real easily. Whoop. So I'm coming down to my second row of 11 O's. And one more row, and then we're going to start the 15-ohs again. We're going to go back down. Now you could also make a bracelet using the same pattern. And all you do is you go up and down with the different sizes of the seed beads. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. If you'd like to see me make a bracelet like this. But this is the basic pattern. It's called graduated peyote. Okay. Now we're going to flip it and go back to the 15-ohs. I'm going to flip it and put 2 more rows of the 15-ohs, and then I'll be back and we'll put on the delicas going back down, and then we'll zip it up. So we're nearing the end here. We've got the 15-ohs on. We're going to put on this brighter shade of purple, 3 rows of that, how we did over here. And then we're going to go back to the darker purple. So I'm going to get that done, come back and show you how I zip it up. Okay, so I've done the rest of this side of the band in the darker purple, and I've just put it around my finger to see what is the best length, and this is what I have. And this is what it looks like before you zip it up. So to zip it up, to zip up peyote, all we do is we turn it around. Let's go this way. And I bring the 2 ends together and make sure that you're on a row where it's opposite of the row that you started out. So when you go and do peyote, it's every other row is a little bit different. So it needs to look like it's going to fit together like this, where you're going to sew up. You're going to take the thread from this bead here, and you're going to not add any beads, but you're going to sew through the first sticking up bead on the other side. Then you're going to go through the sticking up bead on this side. Whoop. There you go. Then back to the other side, the sticking up bead. It's like a little zipper that you're zipping up. So you keep going from one side to the next on the sticking up beads, sewing through them without any beads. And see how it comes together almost like a little puzzle. Just keep going from one side to the next. And you're going to go through that last bead up there. And then to completely zip it up, you're going to turn around and go through, excuse me, this top bead. And there you go. It's zipped up. You can't tell where the two pieces came together. And then all you're going to do is, I don't tie any knots in peyote. I'm just going to go down a couple beads, keeping in the thread path. And then you're going to go up a couple beads, down a couple beads, and then you're just going to burn your thread off. So there you have it. This is our graduated peyote ring. I think it turned out pretty. You could probably make one for any finger that you want. Now, like I said, it's not for everybody. It's a bigger ring. It's kind of like boho hippie, and I'm maybe aging myself, but that's the era I grew up in. And I enjoy wearing this type of jewelry. So I want to thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed learning this stitch, please hit the like button and subscribe, and you'll be notified of any time I upload a new video. Thank you again for joining me today, and we will see you next time.